This is Akashwani. Time for a weekly program, Our Guest. I hand over the mic to the show host, Nitish Arora, for the same.
I'm delighted to have Mr. Atul Khanna, a very passion driven restorer and curator, in our guest today. He is working with some museums, restoring some old Havelis, and a lot of other things. Atulji, welcome to our guest. And
Thank
I'm
you.
so very delighted to have you here. And the kind of work, the canvas that you are having, it's too huge. Please let our listeners know that what exactly you are doing and how did you come into this?
Thank you for having me here. If I realized, when I reached a certain age, I asked myself that I have to do something which is passion driven. So I realized that the heritage space was being living in India. There's so much of heritage which is available here, which you come across, and there was a need to restore and to save this heritage. So I came in this space and I started restoring old Havelis in Rajasthan and also in Old Delhi and giving it a adaptive reuse. So one of the adaptive reuse was to convert them into museums or even hotels, cafes. So I'm having a lot of fun in restoring and giving adaptive reuse to these heritage mansions.
But many Havelis have gone down the gallows only because the people have fallen back into bad times and they really want to have money or trade them off. So, was this a fine idea that when you came into those spaces and asked those people to either give those Havelis to you and then restore them because most of those Havelis are in very prime land. And nowadays, people think that dismantling them is a better option than keeping them the way they are.
Exactly. It's a huge challenge because commercialization, urbanization, that's taking over these heritage structures. There are so many Havelis which have been converted into marketplaces. They've been brought down and these modern buildings have come up there. So it's very sad. So the message which we want to give and what we are proving also by our projects is that you can reinvent, these Havelis can be used in different ways. You can even make them into something which is feasible, viable by converting these Havelis, without disturbing the facades, without disturbing the architectural element. That itself will become your winning, So you can convert them into, like they say, adaptive reuse. So you can convert them into various models where you can make it into viable projects without destroying them.
And this is all very private. You have not got any support from the government. Neither have you actually approached the government for doing it. Is it like that?
So far, it's been like this because I discovered an area called Shekhawati where I realized it was the hub of all the Marwadis, and all of them had made these beautiful Havelis only just 240 kilometers from Delhi. So I was surprised that in spite of being a heritage lover, I just discovered it sometime back only. So I realized there's so much of potential, and these private owned heritage, one can work on it. And of course, it's a challenge to get these Havelis because the multiple ownerships is there. But still, we have an opportunity in India to make projects out of these Havelis. Similarly, I discovered Old Delhi. I read an article in Times of India about the disappearing Havelis of Old Delhi, and I went looking for that particular Haveli, and I realized that there was a potential, and now I am running a cultural center and a museum in that particular Haveli. So the idea is to save these Havelis and to give it another use which is got the viability, the feasibility, and there are so many opportunities one can have in the heritage space.
Shekhawati and Delhi. How many Havelis you have restored and put them to a better use now? And how many years you have been doing this?
As I said, it's become a passion. And, so far, I would say about 8 to 10 Havelis
8
I've
to 10
restored.
Havelis.
Yeah, it's been quite a challenging project. But, when your passion takes over, all these challenges become part of your life. And it's been a beautiful experience for me because work and passion, when it kind of combines together, it's a lot of fun. So I have been restoring Havelis in Shekhawati and in Old Delhi and giving it a use of a hotel or a cafe, restaurant, and also like a museum and cultural center.
Private museums and cultural central, how have they gone down to the public? Normally, if you go to Europe or if you visit America, museums is part of the culture. But I'm sorry to admit that that kind of passion for museums is not here in India, as far as even government museums are concerned. How about the private museums?
I think you are absolutely right. Like, even the tourism today is not about just sightseeing and seeing these beautiful monuments. people need experiences, and a museum experiences are becoming very, very important. Like whenever I'm also traveling, I first thing I see is that which museums I can visit. So it's very important to bring our museums to the point where people enjoy the experience. So I would say that the rise of private museum, it's transforming the traditional museum experience, because the private museums are more about, these are museums which are alive, which are interactive, engaging, entertaining. You're not overwhelmed by a huge space. These could be intimate spaces where the person can touch and feel. They can not only see the objects, they can touch and feel the objects. These are also places where you can provide them experiences like my museum and cultural center in Old Delhi. We have every day we have Indian traditional music from sitar, tabla to Kathak dance, sarangi music. So all that baithaks are happening with historians. We have mehfils which happen in the evening, sometimes on weekends. So you have to give a experience which people enjoy. And even for younger people, they don't want a space which just overwhelms them. They want a space where they have selfie points, where they are comfortable, they can make their reels, they can enjoy the things which were of the past. They can, see how the old Havelis looked like in the past. So that's exactly what we are trying to showcase in our museums. Interactive spaces where the people, and especially the youth and the tourists, can enjoy.
Good that you brought in youth. Actually, I was about to ask you that our heritage basically is not meant for the people who has left the world, but it is meant for youngsters who really want to have a look at those heritage spaces which are vanishing very fast. How are you involving them? Is it like only for visits, or you are kind of giving them some projects also to work on so that they are also part of the rich fabric of India?
As I said, if you have to involve the youth, if you have to involve the community, like where we are in Old Delhi, we also work a lot with the community. You have to have an interactive museum. So what we do is we believe in workshops. So we have workshops like from theater to dance to calligraphy to a lot of other interesting workshops. So where the youth gets involved. So that's where we bring them in. We give them a reason to come back also to the museum. It is not just a one-time experience for them. And also to showcase, sometimes when they go to Old Delhi, they haven't got the opportunity to see how rich our culture was, how beautiful these Havelis was. So that's what we are showcasing, so that they can also be very proud of their heritage.
Then one very important question is, how does these private museums sustain themselves? Because that also is one big challenge, sustaining and making them economically viable.
That's a huge challenge, and I believe that even if you are running a charity, it should be self-sustaining. It shouldn't be a charity which is alive till you are alive and then it kind of disappears. So I feel that all these spaces, one has to look at the viability. So some of the ways the viability comes in is through workshops and events. And also I see a lot of people, and I'm learning and getting inspired from the others, where they can combine a cafe or a hotel. Like one of my properties in Shekhawati is a museum hotel. So you combine it with some other things, other experiences, and you make it viable. So the viability is a very, very important part, because that keeps it alive, that keeps it going. So that is a huge challenge, and we are trying very hard to turn viable ourselves.
How do you reach out to people? I understand that Havelis is one part, but then you are also running museum. So you must be procuring old artifacts and heritage. How do you approach people? What is the modus operandi, if you can share that?
So it is interesting because the private museums, like personally, if I talk about myself, I started as a collector. And this is not a collector of expensive antiques. It's a collector of things which I enjoyed myself, old gramophones and old radios and so many other things which you still can find in India, or Shekhawati is full of these antiques, So I started as a collector. So you start as a collector, you first decorate your drawing room with those stuff. Then from the drawing room, it moved to the basement, to the garage. And finally, I had no choice, and I needed a museum space to display those things. Even the adventure is collecting these things. I will never buy something just off the shelf in a shop. The adventure which is attached, like I'll get a call from a person who deals in these things that there is something in Pilakwa. There is a beautiful piece of furniture in a small village. I think it's in UP. And my Sunday morning will start by going to Pilakwa, having a look at those stuff and even procuring some of it. So that adventure keeps you going. That's the passion which keeps you going. I think most museums, private museums, are either started by the collectors, or I see a good trend of business houses with their CSR funds also creating these kind of museums.
How good is this passion in India? I mean, are there some other private collectors? Are you in touch and sync with others? And you are growing, all of you are going together, sharing experiences.
There are so many of them. Somebody's collecting coins, somebody's collecting cars, cameras, and we all network together. We all participate. Government gives us a very good platform. Like my own journey started when I heard a speech of our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, where he said Har Ghar Museum. And also Ministry of Culture has given me the platform at the Binale, which happened at the Red Fort, or the Festival of Library. So this is where you interact with all the other collectors. I have got inspired from others, and I'll be delighted if others also get inspired from me. So it's an inspiration which we are spreading, and which we are learning from each other. And in coming time, I'm sure that many more such museums are going to come up.
There is one dilemma also, because lots of fake antiquity is also on sale, and people are in actually love for antiques. We have a few markets here in Delhi also. People go there and they buy those stuff. What kind of a challenge is that to the collectors?
You keep hearing about all this, especially in the art world and in the antique world. But a person like me, my museums are about the stories. So it's not necessary that you need a genuine antique. You can even have contemporary showcasing for your stories. So that side, of course, you hear a lot about fake objects and fake art and all, but I have not really looked into it, because for me, something that makes me happy is my piece for the museum.
So you will not go into the age of a particular artifact that you have got, or when you are displaying it in the museum. It's a story, it's a theme that you are building.
Exactly, not necessarily. Some of the objects, of course, we'll mention the age, but it's not the ground rule. Anything that is fun, anything that makes you smile, anything which becomes part of your narration is my object.
We are almost at the end of the program, but I really wanted to know that when this passion dawned upon you.
I would say almost about 8-9 years ago, when I discovered Shekhawati, and I started working in that area, restoring the Havelis of Shekhawati. And then I read an article, as I mentioned earlier, then I came to Old Delhi. So I would say it's been about almost a little less than a decade.
From reading a news and becoming a news yourself, happy with the outcomes?
I would just say that when I wake up in the morning, I'm extremely excited because I'm doing things which I enjoy doing. That's become work. So I want to give a message, and I must tell you that I'm not formally trained. I'm not a historian. I have not been formally trained. Just follow your passion and your life is going to become beautiful. That's what I believe in. I get up very excited every morning, and there are so many interesting things to do. I still have 2 museums in the pipeline. I'm really excited about them. So that's the message, is follow your passion and don't wait too long to do that.
Who else shares the passion in the family with you, or they stop you?
They're going to hate me for this. Earlier they would stop me, but now I'm so happy that my wife, my children, they share my passion, and now they also believe in what I'm doing, after we've done some exciting things, and they've also enjoyed, especially the Old Delhi space where we are having so much of fun.
Which is perhaps a huge outcome of your passion.
So I feel you start from the school children. Because I remember when my son was young, he would come to me and say that don't burn crackers, it causes pollution, or even for Holi. So they learnt it very young. So you also have to give this learning to our young children, because they should know how important, how precious our heritage is. So that's one message through my museum and through my cultural center, that you should be very proud of your heritage and about your culture. So these are the 2 things which I'm showcasing in my museums and my cultural center.
Atulji, it was absolutely fun and pleasure to have you here. Thank you so very much for being our guest. Anything more that you want to share?
I invite you and all our listeners, see Old Delhi, see the walled city, and see Shekhawati through our eyes. And one of the things I like to mention, when I came into the building, there's already a museum here with all those old recording, beautiful old pieces. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Absolutely. Akashvani itself is a very heritage building. Come to us for the programs, are most welcome, but otherwise also they can visit us. Very soon we are also coming up with a museum, broadcasting museum in Akashvani.
Wonderful. What a good idea.
Thank you so much, Atulji.
Thank you very much.
You were listening to the weekly program Our Guest, that is broadcast every Monday at 9:15 a.m. Don't forget to tune in next week, same day, same time and same frequency for more on Our Guest. Have a nice day.